to be cautious. You need to understand, I don't need to, where's our fire guys? Hands up. All right, I don't need to learn what you do. I need to learn some of it. I need to learn some philosophy, some strategy. But if my car's on fire, I don't want me working on it. I want you working on it. If you're injured, you probably don't want me working on you. You want EMT working on you. All right? So we have our own responsibilities at the incident scene. We need to make sure that we understand a little bit about why the other disciplines do what they do. Police on scene. Watch the white wheels of the squad car. Now, could we talk to this guy about how he approaches a scene? Number one, why does the police car come in front? Where should the police car be? In behind. For what reason? Protection. He's going to be there a long time anyway. Vehicle might as well be there. If somebody's going to get hit, let it be a vehicle, not a person. You know, this was not in the United States, but has this happened in the United States? Oh yeah. We just didn't catch it. We didn't get it on video so we could show it. So if this guy had been taught how to properly park, the correct positioning when he's at an incident scene, this wouldn't happen. Okay? I talked about guardrails. These are cable barriers that we now have in the state of Indiana. In that 10-mile stretch, we went from 14 crashes, fatal crashes one year, to 1 fatal crash the next year. An issue that we had with this, NDOT, in their contract, were giving them the authority to run those cable barriers up to 5 miles with no break. So now what does that do to a first responder unit? And I don't care whether it's law enforcement, fire, EMS, coroner, insurance. I don't care who it is. What does it do to us? Yeah. Now we either have to stop on the opposite side of the road and now stop traffic on that side, which we don't have any business doing most of the time. Or we have to go forever to get down. And once we get turned down 5 miles, what do we have to do now? Fight our way back through. And everybody gets over so politely, correct? Yeah, a bunch of creeps. You know, nobody uses the rear view mirror anymore. Nobody thinks about it. I have to get past this. I'm going to figure out how I can get past this. It's just the way society is. So, what does this have to do with traffic incident management? Our in-time group, myself and a deputy chief from the fire department, went and spoke to a group of NDOT folks, the engineers, the folks that write these contracts. And we explained to them what we're looking at for in-time on first responder response. I don't care what discipline it is. Even the tow truck drivers, they have to be able to get turned around as well. I don't know about here in Oklahoma, but in Indiana, tow truck drivers are not emergency vehicles in that they can't run red or blue lights. They have yellow lights, that's it. Yellow to the front, red to the rear. So they always give right away to the yellow lights, right? Wrong. So they have another issue. We went and explained to them what we were looking for. We would like to have a turnaround. It doesn't have to be approved, just a turnaround. So we can get an ambulance, a small fire truck, probably not the big ladder trucks. They're going to have to go to an exit. But some of the smaller vehicles, we want every 1 mile. They bought off on it. And they changed their wording now in the contract. So now when the contractor gets it, he knows that he has to have at least an unapproved turnaround. He has to have a break in that cable barrier at least every 1 mile. All right? Now, we still have those sections that we have to worry about. And they said, NDOT told us that they would work on that to put some brakes in those. So we made some progress. How do we do that? Face-to-face contact. Myself as a state trooper and the chief deputy from the fire department, both of us in uniform, sitting in a room of about 25 engineers. That was scary. How many engineers we have? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I can tell you engineers. But we made progress because we talked, we communicated. All right. This is an intersection in Indianapolis. We have emergency vehicles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? 7. I think we pretty much got that covered, don't we? What did we do to that intersection? We shut it down. Why? We have 2 vehicles. We have one right here, we have one right there. Just something for you to think about. How could we have done it differently to keep some of that traffic going? Are there secondary crashes on these streets that have 30 or 40 mile-an-hour speed limits? Absolutely. They might not be as serious, but the insurance companies that set in our in-time group would say that's important to us. Those are claims that we have to pay for. Now, prior to 2010, you would never have seen a push bumper on the Indiana State Police car because we are the Indiana State Police. But now, we have a superintendent, and we had a major at that time that's kind of ate up into this and said, boss, we need to try some push bumpers and see if they're effective. We bought 20 of these push bumpers. I think they look fine. We have them on 20 of our cars, 7 in the northwest corner, which we call the armpit of our state. Gary, Hammond, East Chicago, you know, that kind of stuff. And we have 7 in the Indianapolis area, and we have 6 down the Sellersburg area, which is right by Louisville. And we use these push bumpers every day. And what are we doing? We're clearing lanes. This is for vehicles that are crashed. Somebody's broke down on the side of the road. They ran out of fuel. They're 3/4 of a mile from the exit. Push that baby off. Get it out of there so you can get that traffic moving again. Something, of course, to think about. We do have Plan B. If this does not work, we're going to D. Which is just about what Oklahoma City, or Oklahoma County has up there. It's Holy County. Photogrammetry. Anybody heard anything about photogrammetry? Okay. Photogrammetry, that we still use for law enforcement the laser. And it is a useful tool to use. It takes a long time. I set up the laser and I have him take the pole, and he takes it over and I measure it and I write down the measurement. I say go over to the other wheel and you measure it. When you leave the scene, those measurements are what you have. Okay? Nothing else to get, because once they move everything, it's gone. With photogrammetry, you put these markers down, and I'll make this sound very simple, but it's not. It's not as simple as I make it sound. You put these markers out here, you take digital photos, as few as 1 or 2, as many as 100. Doesn't make any difference. And you take these markers up, you get back in your car, and you're done with collecting those measurements for the scene. You take those digital photographs, you put them in the computer, into the software, you do your little hocus pocus, you connect the dot F in this picture to the F in the next picture, to the F in the next picture, to the F in the next picture. The software will put together a 3D photograph of that scene. All right? We'll show you some time savings here in just a minute. This one literally was the pursuit that you just saw. The car over here on its side, squad car, poles, and everything. It also gives you the ability to make that diagram, pull up Google Earth, and literally put that diagram on the location that you work. All right? So if I'm testifying in a court case, and I have a fatal crash, and I want to show the jury what's going on, I literally can show them the intersection. Is that going to help? It absolutely is. All right, 140 uses. When we brought this in about 1.5 years ago, I required them to fill out forms excuse me, that tells me how long it took them to do photogrammetry from the time they got to the scene until the time that they were done and left the scene. And they had to give us an estimation of how long it would have taken had they used the laser, or in my case, I wasn't trained in that, so I used a 100-foot tape measure. Takes a little while. The average time using photogrammetry was 59 minutes. The average time estimated for using any other kind of method was 2 hours and 44 minutes per incident scene. So we saved in those 140 incidents, on average, 1 hour and 45 minutes per scene, clearing that thing up and getting off. All right?